Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into fascinating sources and pull out the key insights for you.
That's right.
And today, we're jumping into some really interesting stuff from Ryoma Maeda. It's a selection of tracks from his Outsider Musics in My Life compilation.
Yeah, which he shared on his website. It's basically his personal commentary on these older tracks.
Right. Our mission here is really to get into the stories behind these sounds, understand where they came from.
And it's cool because this compilation pulls from his really early work, like early 2000s, under names like Milch of Source, Milky Chew, and just Ryoma Maeda.
It's like a personal archive almost.
Exactly, a window into his beginnings.
And he calls it outsider music. We should probably unpack that a bit.
Definitely. It's, music made kind of outside the usual industry machine, more about passion, experimenting.
Less about chasing hits or having huge budgets.
Totally. And you hear that. He was soaking up influences from all over: breakcore, ska, reggae, rock, electronica, and mixing it all up.
And doing it mostly with hardware, right?
Yeah.
Synths, samplers, drum machines.
Yeah, and hard disk recorders, often just in like his apartment in Osaka or Kawasaki. Very DIY.
Okay, so let's get into the tracks. First up, it's a Clumsily Sunset.
Ah, yes. This one actually started as It's a Disloyal Sunset.
From his 2000 album, Ennui New Pig.
Right. But the Clumsily version, the process behind that is pretty wild.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so picture this. He records the main part onto just one track of a 4-track cassette recorder, like super basic setup.
Okay, only 4 tracks available total.
Exactly. Then he cranks the tape speed way up, fills the other 3 tracks with just various sounds.
And
Then the magic happens during playback. He's manually messing with the track on-off switches, fiddling with the tape speed again, trying to find this balance.
between what? Total noise and something else.
Kind of. Between like complete chaos and just enough structure to make it work, it's deliberately unstable.
That's fascinating. Using the limits of the 4-track as an instrument almost.
Precisely. It wasn't just using the 4-track, it was pushing it, bending it, finding a sound because of the limitations.
A great example of constraints breeding creativity.
Totally. And get this specific track, It's a Clumsily Sunset, ended up being used in official video works for Morichek's Gloomy Bear.
No way, Gloomy Bear. That's quite a pairing. The cute but violent pink bear.
The very same. It kind of makes sense though, right? There's a shared feeling maybe, like controlled chaos, pushing boundaries.
Huh. I guess so. It shows how this outsider stuff can find unexpected homes.
Absolutely. The takeaway is really seeing how vision, plus whatever tools you have, can lead somewhere really unique, somewhere that resonates.
Okay, cool. Let's shift gears. Track 2. Galaxy Train 2999.
Right. This one has a different kind of origin, more collaborative and international right from the start.
How so?
It was actually made for a Canadian label. They requested it for a compilation album based around the theme of the year 2999.
Concept album kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. And the interesting part was the structure they paired musicians with illustrators.
Oh, nice. So visual art and music together.
Exactly. And for Maeda's track, the artwork was done by an Italian artist, Manuel Larigno.
Wow. Canada, Italy, Japan, all connected by this track.
And Maeda mentions the artist was specifically inspired by the music when creating the visuals, so it's this lovely back and forth.
That's a great illustration of how these creative sparks can jump across borders and disciplines, even on these smaller indie projects.
It really is. The theme, 2999, became this prompt that connected people internationally. It wasn't just music in a vacuum.
You see how these external ideas, these collaborations, can push artists in new directions?
Definitely. It shapes the outcome in ways you wouldn't expect otherwise.
Okay, track 3, Kun March. This one feels different again, almost like a throwback.
It totally does. This was released under his Milk ISU name.
Right.
And it came out as a 7-inch vinyl single.
A proper record.
Yep, on an indie label based in the UK.
So, early international interest again, but this time via the UK underground, maybe.
Seems like it. And the process, it really dates it in a charming way.
Maybe.
Well, the label contacted him by email, which sounds modern enough, but the master recording, it was on digital audio tape.
Date tapes. I remember those.
Yeah.
Pro Studio format back then.
Exactly, and he didn't upload it.
Yeah.
He physically mailed the date tape to the UK.
Mailed it. Wow. Across the world.
Yeah, it really grounds you in that specific time before easy digital file sharing. Think about that journey.
He gives you, the listener, a real sense of the physical reality of music distribution back then. Less instant, more tangible.
Precisely. A little piece of history right there.
Okay, last track for this deep dive. With You and Ice Cream Flying.
This one closed out the Milky Chew album, Carnival for Edelweiss's Ensemble.
And Maeda notes it was quite popular.
Yeah, and part of that might be the vocals. It features EL on vocals.
Adding a voice can definitely change the dynamic.
It often does. Makes it maybe more immediately accessible for some listeners.
And there's another collaboration story here, but this one's more local, right? Tied to the Osaka scene.
Yes, exactly. The guitar part you hear, that's actually a sample.
Sampled from who?
From a track by Gate in the Air, which is the project of Madokuro. He's known from Osaka's Fukuda studio.
Okay, so sampling someone from the local scene.
Yeah, and the anecdote is great. Maeda told Madokuro he'd use the sample.
Huh, what did he say?
Madokuro apparently joked, "Hey, you should have just asked. I would played it for you."
That's brilliant. Friendly rivalry, maybe?
Seems like it. But it gets better. Madokuro actually mastered the whole Carnival for Edelweiss's Ensemble album.
Seriously. So the guy he sampled mastered the album featuring the sample.
Yep, it just shows how interconnected that scene must have been. Collaborative, supportive, probably a bit of friendly competition too.
That paints a really vivid picture, sampling, mastering. It's all part of this web of relationships.
It really highlights that music making, even solo projects, often happens within a community and sometimes leads to funny stories.
Okay, so we've looked at these 4 tracks, each with its own unique story. Let's maybe pull back a bit now.
Yeah, look at the bigger picture from this collection.
This outsider music concept really comes through, doesn't it? Music just bursting with ideas, not really constrained by industry norms.
Definitely. It's that early 2000s spirit artists getting hands-on with hardware, exploring, experimenting because they could, because they were passionate about it.
And you hear all those influences swirling around: breakcore, ska, electronica, rock.
All mashed up in Maeda's unique way.
And what stands out too is how connected he was, even back then. The UK 7-inch, the Canadian compilation, the Italian artist.
It shows that interesting music finds its audience, Even without major label backing, these connections were forming across borders.
The different names: Ryoma Maeda, Milky Way Shu.
Yeah, Milch of Source, too. Likely different outlets for different sonic ideas, right? Exploring different sides of his creativity.
Allowed him to maybe not be pigeonholed into one sound.
Exactly. Creative freedom.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen the experimentation, the hardware focus, the surprising international links, the local scene stories.
All embedded in these tracks from outsider musics in my life. From the tape chaos of Clumsily Sunset and its Gloomy Bear connection.
To the global collaboration of Galaxy Train 2999.
The physical D8 journey of Kyun Kyun March.
And the sampling story behind With You and Ice Cream Flying.
It paints a picture of music driven by ingenuity, making the most of what was available. That's the heart of that outsider spirit.
So here's something maybe to leave you thinking about. How often do limitations, like that 4-track recorder, actually force creativity? Push artists down paths they might not have taken otherwise?
That's a great point. And also, how do all these diverse, maybe even seemingly clashing influences come together to form something totally new and distinct, like in Maeda's work?
Yeah. What kind of unexpected ingredients might be hiding in the origins of the music you connect with? Worth thinking about. Until the next deep dive, keep listening, keep exploring.
Somehow, or you people have been excellent. I just want to thank you for it and congratulate you on your good audience. So, good hand for a good audience. Hooray!